For real?
Yeah. Hitting the big 3-0.
For talking about 12, like in a couple hours, 12, or like in an hour, 12,
Yeah,
or
12
12 going into Saturday.
12 Central Time. Um, yeah, it's gonna be my birthday. It's
The
already
next
my birthday
hour.
your way.
Oh man, yeah. Hey, happy birthday!
Oh man, I appreciate it. They're gonna
What
throw
you turning?
30.
Big 30,
I'm telling you,
man.
finally here.
Hey, man. Are you already recording for the
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Man, the
Cool.
big 30.
Mm-hmm.
How's it feel? I know China snuck up on you, didn't it?
Hey, look, man. You have. I know you watched the movie American Gangster. Near
Mm-hmm.
the end, when Denzel Washington just goes out in modern day New York and he just sees everything has changed and he's just like shocked by how much
That's
has
you.
changed. That's me right now. Like just looking at modern day society right now. I'm like, man, I'm 30 years old.
You 30, man.
I'm
I know
old,
you
bro.
remember being. I know. Seen that long since you was what, East Webster. Was that
Yeah.
where you went to school? Was it
West
East
Arkansas.
Tippahawk County?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
You was out there at Tippahawk County, yeah, because you said didn't Jay Banks? Did he go to the same high school you went to?
He went to East Webster, which is
Oh, he
not
was
that
to that
far
school to
away.
West.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm. But when I
man.
played with like Vaughn and Tiberius and all of them,
Mm-hmm.
they all like we all stayed close to like either Sturgis or Maven. That's the reason why we went to school
Mm-hmm.
together.
Yeah, because I know it's right. Yeah, those areas right there by each other.
Right, right. Shout out to those guys,
Mm-hmm.
by the way.
For sure, for
Had
sure.
some fun
My boy
times
30.
playing. Yeah, fun times playing
Man, we.
football.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
Do you think back to your
I
Oak
always,
Grove days?
I always do. I always do. Those were some good times, man.
Yeah.
Playing ball at OG. Um, Life was a whole lot, more simple, much
Yep.
simpler days, man.
Mm-hmm.
Good times, good
Yeah.
times. Just getting with the homies. We always hooping, play
Mm-hmm.
2K.
There you go.
I mean, it was that simple. Always kicking it at my boy Zach crib, playing 2K together.
Yeah.
This was back when you played 5v5. It wasn't how everybody get on my career and
And spend
create their
tons of
player.
VC.
Yeah, this is before the VC days. This was back when my career had skill points.
Yep.
But when everybody just played 5v5, that's when you really had to be nice at the game.
Exactly.
You had to know how to shoot with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Because if you didn't, you're gonna be struggling.
Exactly. Exactly. But
You're
yeah,
gonna be
man.
struggling.
Like good times though for sure.
Yeah.
Milestone moment for you.
Yep.
Let's clap it up.
Yep.
Clap it up for Kory. Big 30.
Oh man. Everyone to the show. Kory Willis supports. Here with my good friend Chris Bolton. We're here at week 8. And yeah, I think we just go ahead and just kick off by talking about the big game during the noontime.
Ohio State?
Yeah, we got Ohio State hosting Penn State. This is definitely going to be a big game that everyone wants to see this year. That everyone's been waiting to see this year, I should say. Ohio State's coming in, Chris, as a 4.5 point favorite, and the over under is at 45.5. So far, what do you think about this game? And what's your pick for
This
the big
is
game?
this is an interesting matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like heading into the season, Penn State, and they still, Penn State was, I feel like a lot of people's sleeper or, dark horse pick to make some noise and to win the Big Ten. And this is the game that they've been waiting for. I feel like we've yet to see Penn State really play its best game. But if they want to win this one, I feel like they have to play their best game. I think Ohio State is ascending. I think some of the concerns we had about this Ohio State offense are starting to be laid to rest. We're seeing them play some good football. A little bit of a struggle against Maryland a couple weeks ago in the first half, but I feel good about the direction Ohio State's offense is going, especially when you compare it to how they look to start the season. McCord is playing some solid football. Has 11 touchdowns this year, only 1 interception, so he's taking care of the football. Marvin Harrison Jr., he speaks for himself, one of the best receivers in the nation. 600 plus receiving yards already this year, 5 touchdowns. So the offense is improving for Ohio State. I'm curious to see, how does Penn State, can they get, we said this before, can they get the explosive plays? I think that if you're Penn State, you throw on that film of how Michigan went to the big house and how they did what they did to knock off Ohio State last year. You saw some big runs. Can Penn State get those explosives, whether it's on the ground or in the air? And that's what I'm really, really curious to see. Can Penn State pass the football? Eventually, your quarterback, you're on the road, taking on the top 3 team in the nation. He's got to make some plays. Can Penn State make those plays in the passing game? I think we'll have to. I mentioned the big explosives, and I think another stat we need to look out for is third down efficiency. Like I said, this is a big time matchup on the road, conference game. You need to, keep drives alive. You need to convert third downs to get the win. So those are the things I'll be looking out for. Can the Penn State get the explosives, and can they convert on third down? Ultimately, I'm rolling with Ohio State. I feel like Penn State has left me more to be desired so far this season when watching them. So not saying that they can't win this game. I just personally, I haven't seen enough for me to pick them to win this game. I think it'll be a good game, but I'm going to go with Ohio State to win this one at home.
Yeah, that's a good synopsis, I should say, with this game. For me, I can totally agree with you. When I've tried to look at a couple Penn State games, usually they're pretty much ahead. What I can say from what I can tell from this Penn State team, Drew Allard, he's pretty much made sure to not turn over the football when passing. I can just kind of name off his stats. So he's 118 for 181. That's his attempts to completion. And he has 1,254 yards passing with 12 touchdowns for the season. So, for the most part, he hasn't turned over the ball per se. And just looking at his stats and kind of looking at the team stats, right now, Penn State is averaging about 223.3 yards passing, while Ohio State is averaging about 308. So that can kind of show you that this offense is very balanced, because if you look at the rushing as well, they're at 203.3. So this is a very balanced Penn State team. They don't do one thing a lot. What I want to see is that enough to win the ball game for Penn State. Because clearly we can kind of keep going in the yards allowed. From what I'm seeing, Penn State is averaging about 193.7 yards allowed this season, while Ohio State is averaging about 263.5 yards. So, from what I can tell, this Penn State defense could this Saturday show that they're like really, really legit. Like, this could be the game that really makes people turn their heads and say, you know what, that Penn State defense can actually keep them in ball games to the point where
similar to Oklahoma, Texas,
right.
Real quick. You remember how we were going into that game? We weren't sure like how for real is this Oklahoma offense or in the defense as well. Like, okay, they played against so and so and so and so. And they proved themselves to be the real deal. So it's kind of a similar situation. Honestly.
Yes, absolutely. And that's really what I want to look for in this game. I don't want to write off Penn State, although I will agree with you. I think Ohio State is probably the better team. They're playing at home. They have home field advantage. They have Kyle McCord playing pretty good football right now. And they have really good weapons out there with Travion Henderson and Marvin Harrison Jr. out there. So I'm picking Ohio State, but as long as Penn State plays pretty good defense, which what I can tell they have, watch out for Penn State, because they might shock some people on Saturday.
For sure. Yeah, they very well can go into Ohio Stadium and pull off the upset. I mean, Penn State is not a bad team by any means. Both of these teams are undefeated. Both are in the running to win the Big Ten. I wouldn't be shocked. James Franklin, he needs this one. This will be huge for him. I still feel like he's searching for like that real like just signature, like that win on his resume. He's done good things, but he needs that defining win, and to go to Ohio State and beat this team, I think that would be critical for him and this Penn State program making that leap. I mean, Penn State has always been, back in the day, they were always one of the, top programs in the nation. And after the scandal, of course, it's natural that the program fell off some and has been rebuilt, but it hasn't reached that status, I feel like, where it was prior to the scandal. And a win like this to put your team in position to win the Big Ten, that'll elevate it back to Penn State being like, how we love to say Texas is back or such and such is back. Well, I think we can really say Penn State is back. if they get this win over Ohio State. So as much heat that Ryan Day catches, I think this game is more important than James Franklin. I mean, Ryan Day has handled business. The only problem he's had is just trying to win a national championship. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the battle he's facing. It's James Franklin that needs this one to really solidify Penn State as, being legit, not just a contender, but like we are legit.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, this is this is usually the game that Penn State fans know that they need to get over the hump with, and usually they fail more times than not in the last decade or so. So this game is very important for this program in order to really take that next step if they're really serious about making a run this time. I think, honestly, this team has the tools to be one of the most balanced teams in college football. And I think just by looking at their stats right now, they are pretty much balanced. So, we really want to see more from them. And I think watching this game is going to be interesting.
I was just going to say, I really feel like Ohio State, I think they will key in on the run game. I think that's the recipe for success for Ohio State defensively, is to really key in on limiting their rushing attack and just see if Valor can win the game. If you come to Ohio State and I'm pretty sure Ryan Day can sleep at night knowing that it took Allar going for 322 and 3 TDs and no interceptions for Penn State to get the win. If that's the kind of game you put together on the road, you deserve it.
Yeah,
you deserve it. So I don't see Ohio State letting Penn State run football just up the gut, just all over the place and getting 200 plus yards. And that's their way to path to victory. I see it having to fall on Allar's hands to make the plays. And if you come on the road and do that to us, I mean, more power to you. Like, you deserve it at that point. If your quarterback plays his best game on our home field in front of 95, 100,000 plus screaming Buckeye fans, like, you deserve it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And we're gonna see this Saturday. Can this Penn State offense, can this Penn State defense really go toe to toe with this Ohio State team at their place? It's not easy winning in the shoe.
It's not easy winning the shoe. It's not easy winning in the shoe.
It's just not. So,
yeah,
I'm very much interested. But I will pick Ohio State to win the football game. Just because they're at home. And just because I think
that's what it is.
They're figuring some stuff out.
I agree. I mean, I feel like we've kind of learned this season, at least for me too. Home field advantage is so important this year. In games where it's so, tightly contested. I feel like if we play that Oregon-Washington game we saw on a neutral field, I think Oregon wins that game more times than not against Washington. But Washington was at home.
Right.
And that home field, it's tough to beat a team that's just as good as you are on their home turf. And I think that will continue to play out. I think that'll continue to play out this year. It's really tough to go on the road in these conference games. Teams, we know each other very well. Play each other year in and year out. It's tough. So I'm rocking with Ohio State. I would not be betting on this game. I will be sitting back watching this game.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either at all.
But I think it's going to be a fun one. I feel like it'll give us that mid 2000s vibe. I think the line for the points is accurate. It's gonna be one of them 24-21, just old school, you know, just battling for every point you can get. I really don't know if the offenses will be prolific in this one. I can see it being just one of them good old slugfest. See who's gonna be the last man standing.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's gonna be a great one. I can't wait for Saturday. Yeah, both of these teams are. Yeah, it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a dog fight. So I can't stress enough how spoiled we are as college football fans to get this game right when we wake up.
Big noon, baby. Big noon kickoff. 11 a.m. for you, Central Time. Man, so you get yourself going, brush your teeth, have your breakfast, sit back. Before you know it, it's 11 o'clock.
Exactly.
It's right there.
Exactly.
Game time.
Exactly. That's where you want to be. You want to be hanging out with your friends, tailgating wherever you're gonna be at, watching a great football game such as this one. So I can't.
Man, I'm gonna have the champagne bottle. Give me a bottle of that Champipple. I got some Grand Marnier. We're gonna mix that together. It's gonna be a good one, baby. I'm gonna sit back, rub my chest, kick back, and enjoy the show.
Oh man, that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, but anything else you want to add, Chris, to this game before we head to the next game?
I think we hit it all. Talking about the teams, and then just the importance of this one for the Penn State program and Coach Franklin. So I don't have anything else to add.
All right. Me either. I think we've said our piece on this game. We just can't wait.
I'll say this: Ohio State by 7.
I say
Ohio State by 7. Mm-hmm.
I say Ohio State by 10.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, now we will leave Columbus, Ohio, Chris, and we are going to head to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Chris, where you know what's happening.
T-Town. Like we said earlier, it's that time of the year. Look on the calendar. 1, 2, 3. It's the third Saturday in October.
It's the third Saturday of October, folks. So you know what it is. It's Tennessee. It's Alabama. Going head to head with one another. Chris, who do you have in this game and why?
I'm actually say this real quick. We know about third Saturday in October. I think it just got its luster back. For most people our age, they ain't seen a really important third Saturday in October game until last year. Alabama's been dominating this. This is something our parents talked about. This is the game they look forward to.
Exactly.
But man, this one, it's a little interesting. It's been well documented this year that this isn't the best Alabama team.
Mm-hmm.
But this isn't the best Tennessee team either.
No, it's not.
It's not. But there are some interesting matchups in this game, with Tennessee not really being the juggernaut of a passing team they were last year. Jalen Hyatt, we remember what he did.
Exactly.
And how he torched how he torched the secondary for Alabama. I don't see that happening in this matchup.
No,
But
not at all.
Tennessee's D line is for real. We mentioned before how A&M's D line going into the Alabama game, how that was a huge battle right there going up against below average Alabama O line. And that game was a close game. If this game is a close game, it's because Tennessee's D line is just wrecking havoc up front, and they have 4, 5, 6 sacks. I mean, twice the number of hurries. So that, as a Tennessee fan, I think if you're a Tennessee fan, you are looking for your D line to dominate, because Tennessee's D line has been the truth this year. And they also need Joe Milton to step up and make some throws. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I'm not sold on Milton. He still makes boneheaded plays. He had a bad interception last week in the red zone against Texas A&M. You can't do that in this game if you want any chance of beating Alabama. This might not be the Bama teams, we're used to seeing, but they still are Alabama now. We're going to put some respect on their name, you know what I'm saying? It's still one of the top teams in the country.
Oh, yeah.
You can't mess around. You got to take advantage in the red zone. But I think Alabama's defense will make enough plays. And I think the offense, Jalen Milroe, he's proven that he's one of the better deep ball passers in the nation. I mean, he throws a beautiful deep ball. I expect him to convert on some of those. Mm-hmm. I expect Alabama to clean up some penalties. And I think they'll learn from some of the things that they didn't take advantage in last week's game. I think Arkansas got, put Alabama on alert. I think they'll come in a little more poised. I think they'll be much cleaner in this ball game. I think they want to get their lick back from losing last week too. So I think Alabama wins this one. I'll say Alabama by 14. I feel pretty confident that Alabama wins. I think they should pull away because this Tennessee team, they are okay, but I really don't know if they are good, if we can even call them good. And I'm no offense to them, I just don't know how good they really are. And I think Alabama is better.
I think so too. I mean, we talked about it last week, of course, about that A&M Tennessee game where Tennessee had well over 100 yards worth of penalties, and somehow they still won that football game. I mean, that's a testament to A&M more than it is to Tennessee. But in terms of Tennessee, this is last year's Tennessee team with Hendon Hooker and Hyatt and all of those players out there, where they were just clicking on all cylinders. They could do no wrong last year.
Josh Downs too. Yeah.
They were almost unstoppable with how good they were. And you look at them this year,
it's opposite.
Yeah, it's the total opposite.
It's a run first football team. They're at their best when they are running the football.
Yeah, they are. Hands down. And I like Jalen Wright. I think he's a really good running back for them. But you would like to see much more production in scoring rushing scores from them. But yeah, really, you would like the whole team to just produce a lot more points. Honestly, you know, I just don't see them winning this football game. I do think the last couple weeks Alabama has figured out some things. Jalen Milroe has kind of become a leader of that offense, as you can tell. And he gets beaten and battered in that backfield, and he still gets up and he figures out a way to get that ball downfield. And look, after so long, when you bully a guy like that, and he keeps taking it, Chris, hey, yeah, you found your guy. And
he's a tough one, man.
Yeah, I think Nick Saban's figured that out. I think this offensive line is doing about as best as they can to protect Milroe. It's still not great. I mean, we saw that Arkansas game. They were attacking Milroe a lot of times, and they still won it. But I just don't see how Tennessee overall can play a clean football game, offensively and defensively, with the players that they have.
I understand.
I just haven't seen that game from them yet.
It's another one of those cases where, similar to how we just said in the last game with Penn State and Ohio State, where we just haven't seen enough to like confidently say, Penn State's going on the road to beat Ohio State. I cannot confidently at all tell you that Tennessee is going on the road to beat Alabama. Last year, we saw enough from Tennessee where you could legitimately say, yo, Bama needs to really be ready for this game. Tennessee can win. We saw that and felt good. You could feel okay last year picking Tennessee at home,
right,
to pull off the upset and win. Are you saying Tennessee goes to T-Town this year after seeing how Tennessee has played so far? You just going out on the limb. I haven't seen enough to confidently make that pick. I can't. I would not. And more than likely, I honestly, I would pick an Alabama blowout before I pick a Tennessee close win in this one. I could see Alabama running off, winning this ball game. But yeah, give me the Tide, because this Alabama defense is very good too. They have stepped up this year. While the offense struggled, they've held it down, and they might feast. You get Tennessee in some third and longs, we might see about 2-3 interceptions in this ball game. You know what I'm saying, by the Alabama secondary. But I will say, if Tennessee has a chance, it's because they forced maybe a pick six or a strip sack and then took it for a touchdown. I think they'll need a defensive score in this game to honestly have a chance at winning.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, look, my only option for them is make this game like the game you played last week against A&M. If you force Alabama into that kind of game, you might have a chance, because
that's a great point.
That defense was playing lights out against that A&M offense. Like, they shut down Anaya Smith and company. And they
made
really
life tough on Evan Stewart.
Yeah, they really made Max Johnson feel uncomfortable last week. So, like, Tennessee, grab that playbook, grab that game plan that you had last week, and apply that to this week. Because let's be honest, like, Alabama, while they found some kind of mojo, like, folks, they are mortal this season.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, if I'm Josh Heupel, I'm pretty much taking that same game plan from last week and make Milroe feel uncomfortable. Make this
What
offense
was
feel uncomfortable.
you remember growing up like in the 2000s? What was that company that sponsored the SEC games? You know what I'm talking about? It was like it would be up there with the ticker.
Which
I
kind
can't
of
remember.
company? I should remember these things, but it's been so long.
Oh, going it. I don't know. It was like it wasn't J.P. Morgan. What was that? It's like the 2004 like SEC football games. And it had some kind of I'm trying to look it up now. CBS games. They got to turn it into one of those kind of games though, where it's just kind of ugly. Let me see. Oh, no, it's not it right there. It wasn't the Home Depot games. It was something else. Man, I'm trying to find it.
Let's see.
The people listening know what I'm talking about. I think though, where it was a certain company that was sponsoring those SEC games back then, and the score would always be like 17-14. It would not be a high scoring game.
Well, I got a couple of them. I got a couple of them that I can run down with you. So All Tail, I think I remember that. BC Powder, that's so funny. Chick-fil-A, Cooper Tires, Dr. Pepper, and by no way people us mentioning these companies, we're not getting paid at all.
All right, of course.
Gatorade, Golden Flake. I remember Golden Flake, and Regions Bank.
Was it like Jefferson? Something I can't remember, but those games back then were not the prettiest, sexiest football games, but that's the kind of game Tennessee needs to make it.
Yeah,
just make it rough, tough, ugly, and if you right there and in the fourth quarter. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. They need to make it one of those kind of games where they just have a chance, where it's just close late. I'm not picking them though, especially not with them being on the road, man.
Yeah, it's I don't trust them in Brian Denny. I don't. It's not my cup of tea, honestly. I don't think Tennessee is a terrible football team, but in comparison to how they played last season, it's just not the same team. So I
will say if they do win, big ups to Coach Heupel. I mean, because I think that means you go from winning a shootout last year to winning a ugly. It's gonna be an ugly win. A win is a win, but I think it would be an ugly one if they win this one.
Oh,
and to win,
not gonna be
to win those two polar opposite ways, you got to give credit to the head coach if they do, or if they are able to pull this off. I don't see them winning a shootout in this one.
Yeah. Me. Yes.
You got Bama by how much?
I got Bama by 14.
I was thinking 14 as well. 14. I can even see 17. Wouldn't mind if it's a close game, though. I would love to be wrong. I would love for it to go to the wire.
Yeah.
I ain't got no dog in the fight. I'm just sitting back I was just sitting back with my champagne, with my champagne, and watch and watching football. So please.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man, but it's gonna be a good game, but I think ultimately, man, Alabama's going to squeak out this game with a win. So it'll make
Mm-hmm.
it'll make the one true Nick Saban happy. You know
It would.
he will be excited.
And then Bama would be really close to another appearance in Atlanta.
Can you imagine? Like,
You gotta,
I just gotta say this, Chris, before we move on.
yeah.
Like, can you imagine that happening? And you see like Bill Belichick sitting there looking at Nick Saban after the season that he's had, he still finds a way to make it to Atlanta. While the New England Patriots is just struggling.
Look, man, we gotta give some credits. There's no joke when you call Nick Saban the GOAT, and for this team to be the team that they have been and how things looked when they played against South Florida and they were trotting out quarterback after quarterback. It was bad. But if this team still finds a way to make it to Atlanta and have a chance at making the college football playoff, if you win the SEC championship game and you just have one loss, hey, it's going to be. I don't think the committee leaves you out. Talk about how down the SEC is or whatever you want to say. A one-loss Alabama team that's undefeated in the SEC, they make the playoff. That's one hell of a coaching job by Nick Saban, one of his better in years, if we're being real. With this team, if he steers the ship to get them, to have a chance. His best coaching that's incredible. That's a great job by him.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be his best coaching job, probably ever.
For sure, yeah. I mean,
like hands down.
He's had some teams, but this team, they still haven't just given off that we're Alabama feeling that we're used to seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But they winning.
They're winning.
They get by this one. I mean, what? The toughest test left is LSU at home. Home against LSU.
Yeah.
It's looking really good that they will be in Atlanta.
Yeah. I mean,
this was the year to get him, y'all. We was talking about, Nick might be getting up out of town. Shoot. We'll see. I thought this was the year to get Alabama. I don't see them looking like this next year.
No. Next year, they coming for blood. They're going to rise from the ashes, Chris. I'm telling you, Chris. They're going to rise from the ashes.
This was their chance to get them.
They're going to just pummel everybody.
I'm really curious to see, man, because we haven't talked about it on the podcast. We texted about it, but Georgia's going to more than likely be without Brock Bowers. I feel like the rest of the regular season, after he had the surgery, hairline surgery. We haven't seen no playmakers. We haven't seen any playmakers on the outside from Georgia this year.
No, not at all.
They don't have an NFL young boy. They don't have a George Pickens.
No.
This His team is missing. They don't have a McCole Hardman. You know,
Defense isn't the
they
same.
defense isn't the same. Jalen Carter isn't on that D line anymore.
Nope.
You know, Georgia's a little susceptible, and when you take away Brock Bowers, who's one of the 5 best players in college football, I don't care how talented and deep your team is, you will feel that loss.
Absolutely.
So,
and they're feeling it right now. Kirby is waking up every day, and he's just like, man, it's like he's looking at their schedule. He's like, people gonna be gunning for us. How do I coach out of this situation?
It's gonna be tough, man, and that makes the possible collision course of Alabama Georgia in the SEC championship game that much more interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
So I was very down on Alabama heading into the year, but they still have figured out a way to, despite the bumps and bruises, they're where they want to be when it's all said and done at week 8. This team might find its way in the playoff, Kory.
we wrote them off.
We wrote them off. We wanted to.
That South Florida game, we were like, well, Chris, get the shovel. I'll get the tombstone. We barely knew Alabama. But
little did we know the rest of the conference wasn't going to be hitting on anything for real.
Exactly.
They weren't going to be able to take advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just gave them an opening. Next thing you know, we back. We back like we never left. Oh my gosh! But this game is going to be great this week. Can't wait to watch it. Can't wait to watch some of the other games in the SEC as well. But anything else you want to add, Chris, before we move on to our last 2 games of the week?
No, nothing else. I got nothing else.
All right. Well, we're going to leave Tuscaloosa, Chris, and we are going to head down to Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, Florida, where the Florida State Seminoles will host the Duke Blue Devils in a ranked versus ranked matchup. So I think this game is definitely going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be an ABC game, 6:30 p.m. kickoff. So I'm curious to see what happens in this game, because right now we don't really know the full word, like the official word on Riley Leonard's ankle injury.
I saw
in that North Carolina game. So
I saw he was close.
That's what I heard.
Playing last week. So if I had to guess, I think he suits up for this one. That's just, I don't know. We don't know anything officially. I just assume. I think he suits up for this one. He won't be 100%, but I think he plays.
That's what I'm thinking too, because people are kind of looking into the situation as well. I mean, we're all curious to know the status of Riley Leonard, because when he's out there, he's really a difference maker.
He's the heart and soul of his team.
Exactly. They really rely on him with his legs and with his arm as well. So, and just keeping that offense afloat. So, I'm interested to see what happens with that situation. If he plays, that's awesome. I'm still going to be wondering what percentage he's going to be at. You know, is it going to be 100? Is he 80, 75?
I'm about to say it's probably like 70, 80. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. I'm thinking that too.
I think he will
Um,
be gutting through it, man. I mean, but
yeah,
he's a dog, though. That's Riley, though.
right.
Um,
And I mean, this Duke Blue Devils team is a really good team. So, and I don't think they're going to be scared of Florida State either. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that defense stacks up with Florida State. Granted, overall, I'm going to still pick Florida State because they're at home right now. And usually, Florida State is pretty dominant at home when they're clicking. Um, yeah, they're usually pretty stout as a unit. So I'm looking for Florida State to win. Let me look at what Vegas has them. They have FSU as a 14.5 favorite right now. And the over-under is at 49. So,
yeah, I think that would change
yeah.
when news becomes official. If we get something here soon that Riley's playing, I can see that being maybe a 5,
7.5.
6. It might end up being like a 7-point swing and make Florida State 7-point favorites.
I
Seven and
think
a
so
half,
too.
7.
I think so too. It would, with a healthy enough Riley Leonard out there, this game won't be a cakewalk for Florida State. I don't think.
I don't think so either. I think Riley will. I think he would still play his game.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would still run. I think he would still scramble. I think that's the only way he knows how to play.
Right.
There's certain football players like you just can't help but to be who you are. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen, as much as he might, the Bills faithful, Bills Mafia might want him to slide. He can't help but to go square up on the DB and try to truck him. It's just that's just how some guys play, man. You can't help yourself. And I think Riley Leonard is one of those guys that, even if his ankle is not 100%, if he sees that first down marker, he's still going to try to run and get that first down. That's just what he knows how to do.
Mm-hmm. It's like watching Dak in 2013, where he's just like bowling down on people. And you just like, Dak, stop. But I love this. Keep it going. Like, he just conflicted. He's like, man.
You just like stop.
Exactly. Exactly. I look at that when I'm watching Riley Leonard games.
Man.
Because he is that. He is that guy.
So I personally, I know we said Florida State's dominant at home. And I know they are getting healthier on their offensive line as well. Like Florida State that's where a lot of they struggle protecting Jordan Travis because of the offensive line has had some injuries. But I think they'll be. I know they are getting healthier. They should be near where they were to start the season health wise, and that would have you thinking that Florida State probably runs away with this game. I just can't deny the heart of Riley Leonard. I think they be right there in this ball game. I think it will be a one possession game late. I see this one being tough to the end. I know it sounds a little weird, a little crazy, but I just have a feeling that Duke will be right there in crunch time. I'm not picking Duke to win. I'm going to go with Florida State. But I think they make this one a very interesting game.
I think you're right. Let's look at the yards allowed real quick. So Duke's yards allowed this season is 298.5. Florida State is at 362.8. And I do think you're right in that regards, because when you've watched this Florida State team, they've been winning, but man,
they've been blessed. They pray before the game.
They do it. But you know what? I think half of the team does it. I think the offense does it. I think the defense needs to pray a little bit more, because because I mean, let's keep it 100, Chris. Like, sometimes this defense, you know what? Not even sometimes. Pretty
they
often.
make some mistakes sometimes.
They make mistakes. They let teams get back in a lot of games. I mean, I haven't forgot about, and I know you haven't forgot about that Boston College game either.
I've not forgot about that, and I have not forgot about that Clemson game either. No. Clemson could very well walk out of that game with the win, and you probably talk to most Clemson fans. They'll tell you that they should have won that ball game.
Exactly.
If you watch that game, I'll tell you that Clemson should have found a way to win that game, but Florida State pulled it off. It hasn't been pretty. And if there is a tough physical team that I don't expect to shy away from the moment to make it a game, it would be this Duke team, you know.
Hey. Look, don't count them out.
I'm not counting them out. I'll say this. I know that we expect Penn State to be right there and, you know, to have a chance. I want to say, of all the games that are taking place with ranked teams and really good matchups, I'll put Duke's odds, honestly, as the second best to pull off the upset.
Okay.
We're gonna get on the team. We're gonna talk about the team I think has the best odds next. But I think Florida State is susceptible. Like we mentioned, they've come close to losing some games. And this is barring like if Riley plays. It's different if he doesn't play. If he plays, I'm anticipating him playing. I'm giving my analysis as if he is playing. I think Duke has a chance to really, you know, to maybe pull off the upset. I can't pick them to do so. But man, I would not be shocked at all if they did.
Hey. It'll definitely shock ESPN and Fox Sports and everyone else in the college football world if that happens. I mean, look, anything can happen, of course, and you know we're going to be watching closely as with everyone else to see where the whole Riley Leonard situation is, because that is a difference maker.
Mm-hmm.
In this football game.
And look at Duke defensively. They are a very sound, tough defensive ball club. I expect them to bracket Keon Coleman. I expect them to really have two defenders on him for the most part. You'll rarely get some one-on-one coverage. I think you'll always have somebody over the top in this ball game, and they'll force someone else to make the plays necessary to win this game. I think if you're Duke, you live that way. You don't want to go down with Coleman making ESPN top 10 snags and grabs on you all game, because he will do that. Mm-hmm. He don't mind making us, you know, that is his forte. He loves to make big plays. So I think you force somebody else to make big plays, and I think if you're Duke, you go down that way.
Absolutely.
If I'm the DC, that's how I'm losing. He ain't beating me.
I'm gonna create the best game plan as possible. Ain't nobody gonna touch me by the end.
I don't care if we run the same coverage all game. I will run that same two-man under looking over there on that side, or I will We can even double team him. He wouldn't even be shaded over on that side. His sole eyes will be to make sure he don't go past get you deep with the safety.
Right.
I mean, I would bracket him all game. He would not beat me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. Like, hey, they better have a Madden style game plan ready. Be spamming the
spotlight. we spotlighting him.
We player locking him.
Yes. We're gonna man up. We're gonna spotlight. We're gonna do all that.
Exactly.
Dude, not letting him beat me. Exactly. No, sir.
Nah, no way.
I'll go Florida State at home by 4.
By 4?
I think it's going to be close. I think Duke has a chance to cover the spread. You know what I'm saying? If you Florida State right now, I mean, if I was to bet, I'm betting on Duke right now before the line changes, before it's announced that Riley plays.
Okay. I'm going to go FSU by 7. So I don't think they make that 14.5. If it stays at 14. I do.
So yeah, if you're listening right now, go place that bet before it happens.
Yeah.
Before the change comes, because once Riley is announced as playing, the line will change.
Yeah, it's going to change in a significant way.
Yes, like at least a touchdown. I think it'll probably be FSU by like 7.5 or something.
Right. Absolutely. Well, partner, anything else you want to add on this game before we move on to the last game?
Nah, nothing else to add to it. This next one is really interesting too.
Yes, indeed it is. So for our last game of today, we are going to discuss the game out in California between the USC Trojans and the Utah Utes. This is a 7 p.m. game on Fox, depending on where you are. After what we saw down in South Bend with USC last week, we just saw them get just destroyed. Sam Hartman and them just river danced all over the USC defense, and rightfully so. They had
we said it was going. They was bound to get river danced on.
I know.
We said it.
I know, and it wasn't pretty. I mean, if anyone watched that game, it was not pretty. And you come back home, you're not feeling good after getting beat on national TV the way you did, and it doesn't stop there. You're playing against a physical Utah team that, for all intents and purposes, they are pretty much a complete team in the Pac-12, and
they got your number too.
Yeah, they definitely got your number. So, are you ready for that challenge, USC? Because if I had to guess right now, I don't think you are, and I don't think anyone else thinks you're ready for that challenge either. Vegas does have USC as a 7-point favorite. I'm guessing that's just because of the home field advantage. But the over-under is at 53. I'm just going to swap that. I'm just going to swap the line and say Utah is a 7-point favorite against USC. I'll keep the over-under. I think this will be honestly a high-scoring game, but I think ultimately Utah will win this game, just because they got a little bit more in the tank in being a better overall team than USC. I think Caleb Williams. We all know Caleb Williams is a fantastic football player, and like I said, I do think it might become like a high scoring game because that's just kind of what happens when you play against Caleb Williams. He will turn it. He will turn games into shootouts. So you got to be ready at all costs to kind of play that game with him. But overall, I think Utah has this game as long as they play pretty good defense or well enough. I look for them to come out on top in this football game. So, what do you think about the game, Chris?
Yeah, so it's an interesting matchup. You know, Utah last year dominated this series, winning in the regular season and in the conference championship game. They were the kryptonite to USC. And I'm curious, how does Utah look offensively against this porous USC defense? Because Utah has had its struggles offensively this year. They haven't been a prolific offense. They've struggled. Your starting quarterback started the season off injured. He's starting to get back in the groove of things. You know, we're starting to see Barnes continue to get a feel of things, to improve. But if there's a team that can help you improve, it's definitely this USC defense. They can help you look good. So I'm curious to see how, does Utah take advantage? I'm sure the coaching staff has things they've keyed in from last season that they will look to take advantage of this year. But I'm also curious to see USC's pride. I mentioned before in one of our earlier podcasts when LSU was coming off a loss. And they had to take on Missouri. I feel like that was a pride game for that secondary and for that LSU defense. And LSU got the win. I feel like this is a pride game for USC. And in some respects, not just the defense, but for Mr. Heisman, for Caleb Williams. 3 first-half interceptions against Notre Dame. Performances like that don't get you part ownership when you get drafted, buddy. You know what I'm saying? You got to get right. You gotta come out here and show why you the best quarterback in the nation. I'm sure practice has been hell all week. I'm sure the guys will be locked in and focused. I think Utah has a really good chance of pulling off the upset. I think they do. Would not be shocked one bit if Utah wins. I think I'm going to go with USC, though. I just think they bounce back. I think, like I said, it's a pride game. I think they are resilient. I think of all the games that they have coming up, because you still got dates with Washington, with Oregon, with UCLA coming up. You got to win this one. As we sit here currently today, there's no way in hell I'm picking them to beat Oregon and Washington. You need this one.
Yeah.
And you're at home.
I mean, let me just look at that schedule.
I think I'm going with SC in this one. It'll be close. Going into the fourth, I think they pull away at the end. I think they pull away at the end and win by 10 or 13. But it'll be close entering the fourth quarter.
I know I picked them winning. But your scenario is also very believable as well. And I mean, you nipped it in the bud, Chris. Like, they have to win this football game. It does not get any easier for you in this conference after this game. You know, at Cal, I mean, that's a rival game technically. That's not going to be an easy game.
That place will be jacked up because you're on the road. Yeah.
Yeah, versus Washington. Hey, Michael Penix, he got that team rolling right now. They're very good. At Oregon, look, I think what you saw from Oregon last week, that's probably going to be their only loss of the regular season.
They liable to blow out everybody the rest of this season, man.
They very well could.
they are liable to blow out everybody they play the rest of this regular season.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but you know, they very well could still control their own destiny, and they have opportunity to do that. And then, of course, you cap it off with UCLA, which is your bitter rival. You know, a team that, you know, they're not the best team in the Pac-12, but Dante Moore is still a capable quarterback, and that team all around is still a decent team that you shouldn't sleep on. So, USC, they need this football game this Saturday. If they don't win this game, that's it.
They don't win this game, man. They liable to go 8-4.
Exactly. I mean, at best, you might be staring Las Vegas Bowl in the face. I'm not even sure if Pac-12 teams are capable of going to the Las Vegas Bowl. I think they are.
Whether was it the Holiday Bowl? Holiday Bowl season.
Yeah. Well, one of those bowls, like,
might mess around getting the Alamo Bowl. It ain't gonna be nothing. You ain't gonna be going to Dallas. You ain't going to the Cotton Bowl. Nah. Nope, sure ain't.
Nah, they probably don't want to go to the Cotton Bowl after what happened last season. So, you met up with a tidal wave, a green tidal wave, just destroy them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to Ty J. Spears. But yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, this is tough.
I'm gonna give them this one, but like I said, if there's anybody that can pull off an upset on the road this week, it's definitely Utah, because they don't even feel like they're going into this game with their heads high as can be, confident. We beat these boys twice last year. We supposed to beat them. Caleb who? Like, I mean, you could just imagine the discourse in the locker room. Like, you know, they are not intimidated or afraid one bit. So I would be shocked either if your scenario plays out and Utah wins. But I just would like to think that Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley as a head coach, you just expect certain players, certain coaches, certain programs to bounce back. I think they bounce back this week.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm gonna give them that much. I'm gonna give them that respect. Okay. That they bounce back this week and find a way to win.
Okay. Yeah. I can respect that as well. I just ultimately think, to me, Utah is a much more complete football team than USC right now, even with the quarterback struggles right now. I know Bryson Barnes and Johnson, Nate Johnson are pretty much sharing snaps right now. But overall, I do think this team is capable of beating USC. With just because,
for sure, especially the havoc they can cause on defense.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree. I agree. So for me, I have them winning by 7 points, and I don't have them winning by much because of a little bit of what you just said. Of course, on top of them being at home, I do think they realize that this game is going to be serious. Utah has had their number last couple of years now. Let's be honest, and they're going to come out swinging. But I think ultimately Utah will win the football.
The Utes get the dub. Oh man, another great slate ahead, man.
Yeah.
We started off at 11 at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, and we keep this thing rolling into for the next 10, 11 hours to about 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Central Time. What time this game kicks off? Is it 8 o'clock Eastern kickoff time?
This game kicks off at 7 p.m. Central Time, I think.
So yeah, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. So they'll go until probably about 10 Central, 11 Eastern. So from 12 to 11, lock in.
Yep,
it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a good day.
It's gonna be crazy. It is for sure. But yeah, man. Anything else you want to add about this game before we wrap up?
Nothing else I want to add about this one. Just a couple notes. Just being a college football junkie. Oklahoma State, West Virginia. I will be clicking over to look at that one. That will be interesting. I really like Oklahoma State. And then it's curious to see how West Virginia bounces back from the Houston Hail Mary.
Look, that that
you know what I'm saying?
Look, that play is still just remarkable.
That's a crazy play.
Words can explain how games just don't end like that every day. So I can't begin to explain how that team felt, how West Virginia felt when that ball was thrown and that ball was caught, and that's just like the end of the game.
I mean, that's tough. I'm curious to see how both teams play because Oklahoma State could easily be feeling themselves a little too much after beating Kansas.
Yeah,
and then West Virginia, are they reeling, or do they bounce back and win, or does one loss turn into two? So I'm curious to see that game.
We'll see.
I'm curious to see Mississippi State and Arkansas. We said before when you lose to Mississippi State, they can get you fired. And Coach Pittman's been coaching for his job over there in Arkansas, so you don't need to lose to Zach Arnett and this Mississippi State team.
No, because look, the loser of that football game. Oh, there's no question. You 7 in the West.
Yes.
Like you might as well just go ahead and take the medal, put it on your chest, stick it right there, and just show everyone, just flash it like I finished 7.
It ain't looking good for you. It's not looking good for you if you lose this one. And then another sleeper game. It's a Missouri-South Carolina game.
Yeah.
South Carolina isn't good. But are they good enough to you know what I'm saying? Can come Beamer, can they make some noise? Can they be a pest? And just ruin the delicious matchup we have next week, possibly with Georgia and Missouri. Can they catch Missouri peeking ahead, looking, you know what I'm saying, looking over the blinds into the horizon, seeing Georgia come into town? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm curious to see.
This week has it all. Like, this could be like really one of the most weirdest weeks in college football, because there are so many people that could get beat that you don't even expect it. Ole Miss, Auburn, you know, can Lane Kiffin.
Auburn's played some solid football.
Yeah. When they're at home, they're pretty dangerous. Can Lane Kiffin finagle that? Can he get Jackson Dart and company to wake up in that game? Playing in Jordan here isn't always the most ideal places to play at.
For sure.
If they can handle that, they're fine. But
every bad SEC team has a game that they are just right there to win, that they shouldn't have, that they have no business winning. I mean, we've seen Sylvester Croom pull off an upset at Mississippi State against a top 10 Florida team. You know what I'm saying? So that's happened before in the past. So anybody can get got.
Anybody.
And Ole Miss should not look ahead over against Auburn.
They shouldn't.
Like you said, they should not at all. Hugh Freeze, he's going to cook up a game plan for Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm. So I'm interested. Sark,
that's another good one. Another good one. Yeah.
Sark, I'm looking at you too. You know, Houston won that big Hail Mary. That Hail Mary toss. Won the game against West Virginia. Don't think that they're trying to make some more magic down there. You know, can you wake up this Texas team after losing in Dallas? You know, you're looking at your rival, Oklahoma. They're riding high right now. They're feeling good. You know, what can you do? So, hey, I'm all for it. This is what college football is about, Chris. You and I talk about this all the time, and you know, this is another one of these instances where we have one of those weeks where, hey, Bart Scott said it best: anybody can be beat.
Anybody can be beat, man. Anybody can get got. Especially this season, and it's always the slates. We have some good matchups, but I think there's some sleeper games that can really turn out to be some real gems this weekend. And I'm curious to see how they play out. Like I said, that Oklahoma State and West Virginia game liable to be a triple overtime, just crazy wildness in that. I mean, I would not be shocked one bit. You know, that game, stay away from that game if you're betting. I think that one is, I don't know what's going to happen in that game, but I'll be watching. I'll be tuning in to see. I'm gonna have my TV going. I'm gonna have my cell phone going. We gonna be looking like Buffalo Wild Wings in the crib. I'm gonna have the living room TV on one game, the bedroom TV on another, my cell phone propped up with one game on. It's gonna be. That's the kind of vibes I'm gonna be on Saturday.
There you go. And you probably gonna have a plate of wings literally in your living room, just sitting.
Oh yes,
like you had Buffalo Wild Wings.
We gonna have the food on deck, and we gonna have the drink on deck. But yeah, and we gonna sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I wish I was there.
Man, we gonna link up one of these days, man. We're gonna have to figure something out where we're able to just, whether we kicking it and watching the game, or we pull up to a game. We might have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe at some point we'll figure something out. Find us a game to pull up, like we on some Josh Pate style type deal. Shout out to Josh Pate. You know what I'm saying? They be doing their thing, but we gonna have to pull up to a game and just take in the sights and sounds and see how one of these top matchups go down.
I know. I know it's going to be interesting. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
I can't wait. Can't wait. It should be a fun time.
Yes, sir. Anything else you want to add to everything before we put a bow on this bad boy and gift wrap it?
No. I think we threw out some of our sleeper games for the week as well. So yeah, I can't wait. This is week 8, and I think we're gonna have another one of those big weeks in college football. So
Yeah. Oh, just lastly, Miami Clemson. That's another one too.
yeah,
I mean, it's so much that some stuff can happen this weekend to where this Sunday episode will be crazy.
I know. I can't wait.
Dabo, if they get 3 losses, if you lose to Miami,
Look, hey, it's gonna be some people. You're just gonna turn on YouTube and you're just gonna see a bunch of just like live streams of just like Clemson fans just being like, "Look, I done had enough."
Look, that very well can happen. That very well can happen, and Mario Cristobal and his team can go from being a darling of the early season to having 3 losses. So I mean, it's going to be rough.
How do we get to this point?
Somebody's going to be sad, man. Some fan base is going to be tore up after that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So it's one of those weeks, man. There's some real gems in there, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, yeah, there's nothing for me to add, Chris. If there's nothing else for you to add, of course, on today's show, go ahead and let our listeners know where they can find you on social media.
Find me on X at Chris_Bolton_12. Like I said, man, you'll probably see me tweeting about these games as they're happening. Basketball season is getting started as well, college and NBA. It's just a great time to be a sports fan. NFL is in go mode too. Wrestling's in go mode. Raw, Monday Night Raw's been off the chain lately.
Yep.
I mean, it's
SmackDown.
NXT. It's a good time right now, man. So just holler at your boy on there.
Yep. Absolutely. And for me, if you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on X at Listen to KSW. Yeah, I'm on there just talking about wrestling, talking about college football, all of that great stuff. So yeah, if you're ever on X, be sure to send me a tweet, and yeah, we can chat then on there. So, but
yes, sir.
That's
gonna put it into the Dirty 30 edition.
Hey,
of the podcast. Another again, shout out to the birthday boy.
yes, 30 years around the world. Feeling great, feeling good, and yeah, happy.
Hey, enjoy the weekend.
Yeah,
enjoy the weekend. Much deserved.
Absolutely. I will do that. Yeah, but that's it for us, y'all. Until next time, we will catch you guys on our Monday show to wrap up everything in week 8 of the college football season. So until then, peace.